Hello.
Hello, hello. How is everyone today? Welcome to the Decentralized Masters podcast. I'm your co host, Tristan, and my other host here with me today is John. We go over the live updates of what is happening in the crypto markets every Thursday at this time. So make sure to put your questions in the chat and we will go through them today as well. But, John, how are you and how's the market?
I'm doing pretty good, man. It's been a while since we've done these live streams. I miss them. I know it's there hasn't been a lot of going on with the market, but we did have a pretty big event, this week with the Fed meeting, which I'm going to be really excited to talk about. I've been getting a lot of questions. It's like the we got the rate cuts. Why isn't the market going up, right? And I think there's many factors that we could really definitely go ahead and touch up on. But with that being said, the week is almost coming to an end, and I'm more impressed and surprised by that, how fast the week went. So I'm glad to have you back in action as well, because I know you were in vacation. But what's going on with you with regarding crypto? Anything new on your end?
Not too much. I am pretty stabled up.
I'm,
I
I'm the
moved a
same too.
lot of yeah, a lot of positions into stable coins right now.
I'm the same too. Are you in any liquidity pools or any of that?
Indeed, indeed. So I'm using a lending protocol for some USDC right now. It's averaging about 13%. So that's in the last 30 days. So that's solid. I'll take
Nice.
13% over down markets any day. So
Yeah, yeah.
it's not
What
it's
what,
not too
what
bad.
platform are you in?
I use Beefy, so it's an Avalanche liquidity pool.
Really?
Avalanche lending protocol. Um, but it's on Beefy, so all automated, of course.
Yeah, you know which one's been doing really well for me has been on Harvest. Harvest has been averaging about 8 to 12% on one of them. The one with 40 acres still. I know that's been a very
Mhm.
popular one with us for a few months now. That one's been very consistent. But the one that I'm in right now is USDC Silo on Harvest.
Mm,
That one averages between 6 to 30%. It changes. It's very aggressive fluctuation, but it's been averaging about almost 6 to 30% almost every day. And keep in mind these are APYs that I'm talking about, not 30% a day. That'd be
yeah,
amazing. But 6 to 30% even on a stable coin. I think right now you can't go wrong with at least I think on the low end when it comes to lending, really the lowest you'll be earning on a stable coin. I've noticed it's at like the lowest I've really seen is like 6%. five
yeah,
or six
yeah,
percent. It's like you shouldn't be earning less than that. Like if you are, you're on the wrong token.
yeah. Because I think the Fed funds rate, so the interest rate at the moment is 4%. So literally the most bare minimum risk free rate that you can get, 4%, and you could do that by just holding USDY. Like you don't even have to go into a liquidity pool or lending or anything. You can just hold
Nice,
USDY, get 4%. Of course,
nice.
there's other things that we do at Decentralized Masters to teach our members how to leverage that. But yeah, bare minimum 4%.
Yeah, and then you also have gold as well.
Oh yeah, gold has been killing it. Gold has been killing it.
Yeah,
I know that a few
got
of
a
our
retracement.
members. Yeah, it did. But did you expect that though? I
I
did.
mean, I mean, it's been going up almost 70% for the full like last almost let's call it 12 months. Has been up 70%. So I think it was about time gold finally starts to retrace. But I started to see that retracement once, like people definitely started to now make the pivot aggressively into gold. And it's usually technically when we start to see rotation in the market, right? So um, it's really interesting to see where things are heading. But yeah, I mean, I think there's still a lot of opportunities left in the market, and I'm going to go ahead and touch up on that, right now shortly, just for us to go ahead and quickly take a look at crypto bubbles. As we see on the hourly, not much has really happened. Let's go ahead and take a look at how the daily has been performing. On the daily, a lot of red too. The weekly, also keep in mind we just had a flash crash about 2 weeks ago, almost 3 weeks. For the monthly, you still see a lot of tokens down over 20 to 30%. XPL down 72%.
That's rough.
Very underperforming. But I mean, it's normal. I mean, what we just saw in the market, it's normal for these assets to still be down quite a bit. And realistically, they were down even further. So the fact that they're down 30% is not too bad. It could be worse. Now, with that being said, How do you feel with what's going on with the market? I mean, we just had the Fed meeting. Rate cuts happen as expected, but why isn't the market going up? Why aren't we mooning? Tristan, tell us why.
Yeah, so I did talk about this a little bit yesterday. So when you get rate cuts, you expect Bitcoin to go up. You expect risk assets to move in the other direction than they are now. So what is going on? I think right now there's actually a lot of jitters about what is going on, particularly in the economy. Especially right now, we have a big trade summit happening in Asia. So of course, any little bit of rumbling that comes out of that is not positive is going to send the market into a frenzy. It's looking pretty good, though. There looks like there might be a bit of a trade deal between the U.S. and China here, and everyone's very optimistic about that. So I think there's a little bit of a sell the news actually happening here. Like a lot of people were expecting this positive trade deal. That everyone was expecting the rate cut. So it does not sound like cliche, but it was all priced in.
Yeah, it was priced in since last week. I mean, the market started to rebound really nicely after the flash crash. So what we're seeing in the market, I mean, it's not unusual or untypical for us to go ahead and see. But of course, when we all expect that something's going to go in one direction, it usually goes in the opposite direction. Everyone was under the impression rate cuts, moon. Let me go ahead and load up and market makers, as usual, do the opposite to shake everyone out. We heard that there's a little bit of a sell-off going on today on the NASDAQ with the stock market, which also is normal. All-time highs has been made these last few days. I mean, this is normal for the NASDAQ to also retrace, right? Profit taking is currently happening. Same thing that we saw with Bitcoin right here. We were actually talking about this in one of my office hours back on Tuesday, I believe, and I mentioned how there's a possibility we could see Bitcoin go down as low as even 105, realistically, even this 107, 108 price that we're in. Now, one of the things that we have to keep in mind, and I don't think we're at a major concern just yet, but the market doesn't have much time to make a decision here. I would say on average we have between 2 or 3 weeks, and it's probably less than that, a week and a half, but just to kind of give it some time, because you never know how the market will react. I think we have about like 3 weeks for the market to really make a decision on where we're going to be heading. We're either going to be entering a bear market, and this is the beginning, or we're going to be entering a bull rally. So we really need to see the market make a decision relatively very soon. So for those that are in the sidelines, I'm in the sidelines. I don't mind waiting 2 or 3 weeks to reposition myself if I need to take an aggressive approach. But right now, this is definitely going to be a major sign for the market of where we're going to be heading. So 2 to 3 weeks, we should have a clear decision of where we're heading, either entering a bear market or entering a bull run. Now, keep in mind, we have been making new lows. So Bitcoin got rejected at 122, got rejected at 115, and then continued to get rejected at 115. So as long as we continue to hold this support where we're at, realistically, Bitcoin could even go as low as $99,000 or $98,000, which I wouldn't want to go ahead and see, just because we lost this major structure that we've been consolidating here for a while. But even if we were to go ahead and drop as low as that, there's still a lot of strong support at this range. So I'm pretty sure there would be a lot of liquidity where we would definitely see a rebound very quickly. Now, putting us at this zone would definitely put us a little bit more at risk, and a lot of fingernail biting, very similar to like what we saw right here when Bitcoin went ahead and went from 86, went down to 70,000, and Tristan and I talked about this inverse head and shoulders pattern with this reversal happening, and we talked about how quick we were going to see this rebound. So I mean, it's typical market behavior, nothing unusual for us to panic as of just yet. Now, the biggest thing, as I mentioned, as long as Bitcoin holds up within these ranges, we should be good. But I definitely do not want to start to see Bitcoin continue to lose that range, because that ideally would indicate that we are now finally entering a bear market if we do some sort of move like this. But if you were to ask me like how I feel about this personally and my feelings about the market, I think the market's more bullish than ever. I mean, we just had one of the biggest liquidation events that we've ever had in history. And I feel like that was a hard reset for the market. So they wiped out a lot of people, and that's what market makers like to do. A lot of people are now into fear. We're hearing a lot about the narrative that we're in a bear market. I'm sure you've been hearing the same thing, Tristan. So absolutely, for that reason, from a personal, emotional, I guess if you want to call it, feelings, I think we're still good. But of course, we can't play the market from an emotional perspective. We need to go ahead and wait for confirmation before making any kind of decision. So with that being said, I think we are now definitely pushing towards that level of seeing a continuation into 2026, which I wasn't entertaining a while back. I was so against that idea. But after this flash crash, which was a hard reset for a lot of these assets, I think this possibility now is now even higher. But as I mentioned, we have within 2 to 3 weeks for the market to make a decision. Are we entering the bear market, or is this the beginning to the bull run? And I want to go ahead and hear Tristan's take with that as to what you believe and what you think. Like, what do you think we're seeing here, and why? I know you touched up on why we're seeing a little bit of a sell-off, but do you see anything unusual in the market or any red flags? 'Cause I don't see any really as of just yet.
Yeah. So when it comes to that liquidation event, one question I'd like to, I guess, pose is, do massive liquidation events happen during bull markets? It's almost like it's a bit of a bear market kind of event. I'm sure there are pullbacks. Of course, every bull market doesn't just go straight up. But there isn't usually like a crazy mass liquidation event either. So that's one thing I'd like to throw out to the audience. But then the other thing is, it's almost like we know that there's going to be a ton of inflation coming our way. We do have I know that Poly Market kind of reversed course a little bit yesterday after the Jay Powell Fed meeting. But it's still very likely that we get a 25 basis point cut next meeting. And it's about 50-50 for the first meeting of January as well. So it's likely that we're still going to see those 3 rate cuts in 2025. And then maybe we don't get any rate cuts until May when Trump puts his new guy in there. But liquidity is going up all around the world. Japan is still printing lots. China is printing tons. So is the EU. So liquidity keeps on going back into the market. And of course, Bitcoin is the ultimate liquidity sponge. So Bitcoin is doing quite well. Even Bitcoin's not breaking below 105. But the rest of the crypto markets, it could be better.
Yeah, I mean, altcoins are always going to take a hit aggressively during times like this. But just to point out, liquidation events, we've had a few, back right here in April. We had one right here back also in 2024. And we also had one right here back in early February 2024. And then remember, we had the FTX collapse around this time.
I remember that.
So if you kind of look at and we zoom out and we put out that perspective as to what we're currently witnessing, and I'm not saying this is the case, but just based on what we've seen from previous markets in the last few years, these liquidation events happen usually when there's a major move, whether it's going to be to the upside or the downside, either or. And as you notice, liquidation right here, could be possibility that we might be having the same thing where liquidation and then reverse all-time highs. Market goes crazy. We are all happy. And we're all making money. Now, the thing is, I think a lot of people are just more afraid of this being the bear market because many people might be overexposed, or they just don't know of any other ways to actually be positioned into the market. I mean, because we're in DeFi, you could go ahead and do lending, you could go ahead and do liquidity pools, you could go ahead and do quite a bit of things. You could also short the market. So it's not like the money is going to stop coming in. There's going to still be opportunities. You're just going to have to be taking opportunities the opposite way. The problem is that most people are not aware of how to take advantage of those opportunities. I mean, even us right now, we're sitting at a steady position of stable coins, but we're still earning a yield off of it that most people aren't even earning that on Coinbase. Coinbase is offering 4%. Most people are happy off of that. Banks right now, at least from what I got a letter from Amex, they were offering about 3.5, I believe, on their high yield savings account.
How generous.
How generous. And then you come into DeFi and they're offering you like 8 to 12 to even 30%. So, I think that's why the biggest fear comes into most people. They're either overly exposed to the market, or two, they think that there's only one way to make money, and that's when the market goes up, which is not true.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I've been focusing a lot more on cash flow than I usually do. So I have, very varied stablecoin liquidity pools going at the moment, and just general liquidity pools. I'm focused quite heavy on cash flow at the moment, just waiting for this next leg in the markets. Once, like you said, once we get some confirmation.
Yeah, once we get confirmation, I'm going to be aggressive into the market, throwing money just everywhere. But I don't think right now, my opinion, and for those that have been in the markets exposed already for the last year or a few months already, I think, in my opinion, the best bet would be waiting for a confirmation before assuming, that. Because if you guys remember October, remember we talked about that? We touched up a little bit about that. September, red September, the world's going to collapse. September was the best month for crypto. October always goes up. I don't know what they were talking about, but usually it's always towards the end of October, but never like the beginning of October. And guess what? October went down. It was down October.
Yeah.
So it's always the opposite of what the market thinks. And right now the market's bearish, and I think that's good. And that's why I'm like still hopeful, because if you look at the fears, look at this fear. We were at 50 fear last week, and right now we're down to 34.
Yeah, it's quite fearful compared to where we were, and
Exactly.
it's it moves so the volatility on whether people are feeling fear versus greed is just so crazy compared to where it is week to week. So it's
Yeah.
interesting that we're so low at the moment. This is bad, but it's not that bad.
Yeah. It's not, like I said, it's not alarming, but it is definitely something to be precaution about, and just be prepared for any decision of where the market decides to go.
Yeah, who will know? I do have some things that I was going to share today in a slideshow. Let me see. But we'll keep it short-ish, though. So, of course, I would talk a little bit about Polymarket, and I thought this was a good thing to touch on here. For December, yeah, this is what I was talking about. We were at a 90% chance of 25 basis point cut. Now we've fallen back down to 71. So I'm not sure where you're standing. Oh, yes, I am.
Okay, there you
go. So we were at a 90. You were at a 90% chance of a cut just yesterday, and then the Fed meeting happened, and now we're sitting down at 70. So I'm not sure where your opinions are now, John. Or are you still thinking we're getting that December cut? Personally, I think we're going to get that the Santa Claus cut.
Santa rally. Hey man, we do the opposite of what we hear retail saying.
Yeah. So instead of a Santa rally, we have to say it's going to be the Santa. I don't know. Down.
Bond rally.
Yeah, bond rally. Yeah. So I'm still quite optimistic that we're going to
call it down December, man.
Down December. Oh man. As long as it means that we go up in the end. But even January still looks like January showing a bit of a no change right now as well, which is interesting. But yeah, we're probably getting another cut.
I think the biggest problem is that they're just not cutting rates aggressively, and that's what people want to see.
Yeah.
That's what the market wants. They want aggressive rate cuts, and they're just doing it like a steady, like just so they could go ahead and say that they're trying to make a difference and trying to make that they're doing something. But, they're just slowly cutting also to, not panic people, one. But I think they're doing that already by not cutting quicker. And remember, we talked about this. If they would have started cutting since July, we would have been at a different story.
Absolutely. And at the moment, it's you know what? I think the market would be ecstatic. Like it would react very positively to a 50 basis point cut. A, because nobody's expecting it, but B, because 50 basis point cut right now would take us down to 3.5%. So that would put a lot of juice to the fire, as they would say. But let's look at Truflation real quick here. Truflation kind of gives us an idea of what the actual inflation rate might be in the United States, and it's sitting at 2.4. So a little bit high, but not just slightly above the actual Fed rate. So it's not bad. All right, and there we go. Lost my share screen. Anything else I should cover today? Yeah, John, are you farming the Polymarket token? Are you
I'm
prepared
not.
for the Polymarket airdrop?
When's that coming out?
No idea.
You have to be
But
exposed to poly markets. Is that what it is?
you do.
I
So
figured.
Polymarket did confirm that they're going to do an eventual token launch. They're
Nice.
more focused on getting their app together in the US, but there will be an eventual Poly token. They did secure $2 billion of investment quite recently. They have a $10 billion valuation, so this will be a
Wow.
massive airdrop. If anything, it's going to be in lines of the airdrop that Hyperliquid did back then.
Wow.
So it'll be big.
I gambled a little bit on that platform, only once, and that's
I don't know if that'll cut it for an airdrop.
it. Well, you
Yeah.
never know. I mean, Jupiter did it that way. Jupiter,
Yeah.
when they did their airdrop, all you had to do was like, I think, do like a swap or two, and they gave you an airdrop.
Yeah, it'll depend, I think.
I hope so.
But for those watching, it will reward genuine traders. So anyone who is placing bets, like John. Uh, Also, Polymarket has a social media function to it, so you can do posts. And I'm sure if you are posting on Polymarket as well as making genuine trades, I don't think just making posts will get you an airdrop. Or you could provide liquidity. I didn't actually know this myself, John, but you could
Nice.
actually provide liquidity to Polymarket.
Wow.
The rate kind of sucks. So you're sitting at that 4.3%. Still beats your Amex rate, but you can actually provide liquidity to Polymarket by putting out of the money limit orders.
Wow. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I was shocked. I was like, oh, I didn't even know that. But yeah, that was quite exciting. Other big news is that there is a real official Solana ETF. I know there was like a half Solana ETF that came out maybe a month ago, but this is like an official SEC approved ETF. It's run by Bitwise, ticker symbol BSOL, so BSOL. So fully out there. It's doing pretty well. It's doing well in terms of attracting liquidity. However, the price of Solana is down right now, so the price of the ETF also down at the moment. But not only is it tracking the price of SOL, but they also have the yield application to it. So for those who don't know, if you stake Solana, you'll make about 7% average kind of a year on that. That 7% yield is going to be plugged right into the ETF to buy more of the ETF, so it will compound. This is good for people because if they paid it out as a dividend, it would become a taxable event. Whereas when it's reinvested into the actual fund, it's not. So pretty cool. Not something that I'm going to go personally. I'd rather just go buy Solana myself. Probably John and many of the people watching this would do that. However, for people like my parents, for example, who are not crypto involved, and it's probably for the best. Maybe for them, a Solana ETF would be pretty good. Yeah, that's all I had to share today.
Nice. Well, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it on my end. It was just a quick call. I know that we were going to have. Let's see where the market goes in the next coming days. I mean, keep in mind, Fridays usually aren't the best. Maybe it changes, but as I mentioned, market has less than 3 weeks to make a decision on where we're heading. So it could be a relief. It could be because I think it's a relief. You're either going to be in the bear or we're going to be in the bull. And I think I would rather have an answer than not have an answer and be delayed. So 3 weeks for the market to make a decision. Shai, good to see you, man. You're right, John. You told me on October before we went on my trip. Yeah. We always have to do the opposite of what we hear people saying, but I appreciate you for joining us. But yeah, that's pretty much it on my end, guys. Like I said, 3 weeks for the market to make a decision. We'll see where things go. Hopefully next week that we have our call, we have some good news to talk about. But as I mentioned, not a big deal. Don't worry. Don't panic just yet. The markets haven't shown any negative signs and neither positive signs. I think we're more in a neutral market. Personally, I think we're good, but we'll see. Time will tell.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see tomorrow if the biggest scare for Halloween will be the trick-or-treaters or the red chart, red candle. That was great. Lined up
Maybe
perfect.
tomorrow's October, man. Maybe that's what they mean by
Uh,
October. So maybe tomorrow we might get a surprise.
yeah, we'll get our big rally for the last day of October. Fingers crossed. Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, I wish you a good time in the market. I wish you luck in the market. If you have if you would like to learn more about Decentralized Masters and learning about our DeFi program, feel free to click the link in the description below. You'll receive hands-on mentorship from people such as myself, John, and all the mentors at Decentralized Masters. So see you right here this time next week. Yeah, let's leave it at there. Talk to you
Appreciate
later,
all of
everybody.
you guys. Stay safe. Have a great weekend.